Hey my friends, I have never tried this before, but this is Crazy Tom giving you a quick shot, what I call Crazy Tom Tuesday, after we look back at round one of the NFL, and it's been very, very strange. But you know what? A couple surprises, a couple things that should not have happened, and a couple of things that we didn't expect to be so easy. So I'm going to go ahead and run down all 32 teams. I'm not going to do any rankings, but I'll go by division and conference order. Let's start with the AFC East. The Patriots, they're the Patriots. I mean, my gosh, and then they signed Antonio Brown, who probably played with the Raiders, and you know how that is. You duke one franchise for another and then try and win a Super Bowl. Now the Patriots have trouble on and off the field at the wide receiver position. But they're the Patriots, and all Tom Brady has to do is stay healthy, and they walk to another possible conference championship. The Jets, boy, do they crash land. How do you blow a 16-0 lead to a bad team in the Buffalo Bills? But the Bills are actually a little better than you might think. No excuse for the Jets to lose, and the fact that they need a kicker in the worst way, boy, that franchise is head-scratching sometimes. Another head-scratching team, and we'll get to them in a minute, the Buffalo Bills, meanwhile, give them credit. I mean, if you're down 16-0 and you come back and you win the game like you did, hey, kudos to you. And go figure, you're not even playing in Ralph Wilson Stadium or whatever that place is called now. First 2 weeks at the Meadowlands, maybe they should be the New Jersey Bills and compete with the Jets. That should be a little bit more interesting. And then move the Jets to Long Island, but they're not going to be able to build a stadium in Nassau County next to the Islanders. But kudos to the Bills. We'll see if they can do two in a row at MetLife when they play the Giants next week. But one team that is really in trouble, the Miami Dolphins. Sell everybody and basically put a team worse than the University of Miami out there. I mean, they almost gave up the most points in a game in like 35 years. If you recall, 1985, Tampa Bay, they scored 28 points against the New York Jets, and the Jets won 62-28. We've had a couple of 60 scores, but we almost got 66 from the Ravens, and the Ravens basically called off the Dogs. We'll get to them in a second. But Miami, boy, they're in trouble because they play New England next week. Yipe. Poor Dolphins. It's going to be a long, long year, but I don't think they go winless. I mean, what was I thinking? Them going 7-9, maybe starting 1-8 and then going 6-1 the final 7. Who knows? But I don't see Fitzpatrick being the quarterback after the halfway point of the year. But anyway, getting to those Ravens, I mean, my God, what the heck is wrong? They score 59 points against a team that's worse than the University of Miami and the Dolphins. I mean, the Ravens were the actual hurricane. 5 touchdowns, Lamar Jackson passing. I mean, they look like they were unstoppable, but it's not going to last. It's one game. Relax, people. Ravens, I don't think they're a division winner, and eventually they'll figure out Lamar Jackson yet again. But Miami was basically Division III college, if you want to call it that. The Browns, wow, very disappointing. Not only does somebody end up falling off a van and playing himself face first, turns out he had a seizure while on top of the van. He ended up suffering possibly a fractured skull, a broken shoulder, and 6 broken ribs, and is in critical condition. That's awful. Probably just as awful as the Browns' performance against Tennessee, which, I mean, the Browns are going to be playing a desperate game in week 2 on Monday night at the Jets. So that's going to be a very interesting Monday night game next week. The Bengals, they played tough against Seattle, but a call that went against them late that lost them the game against Seattle. I know Bengal fans complaining that the refs cost them, but you know what? Hey, we can say that with another orange and black team, and they play hockey. But the Bengals, I think, will be okay. The Steelers, I mean, what do you expect? You come to Foxborough and you get pummeled by the Patriots. Seems like that's the Patriot way against Pittsburgh. But Pittsburgh, I think, is going to bounce back against Seattle next week in their home opener. So I wouldn't take this like it's like overreaction. He only had 3 points. But my question with Pittsburgh was, what was Smith-Schuster doing in the game in the final couple minutes when he got hurt? That made no sense at all. Let's go to the AFC South. Tennessee, we mentioned, a very big win over Cleveland. But remember, even good teams have bad games and bad teams have good games. So maybe Tennessee goes back to earth. Jacksonville, I mean, you figure, you know the gods are completely against the planet when he's invincible in Philly, then goes somewhere else and gets hurt. Nick Foles breaks his left clavicle and is out at least till December. He's been put on injured reserve, and that's why Jacksonville traded for a backup Pittsburgh quarterback. I think Jacksonville's in deep trouble. Their defense may be the ones that carry them for a long time. And Indianapolis, let me say this about them. They may have lost Andrew Luck, but they end up getting Jacoby Brissett, who's actually a good player, and they love him. And the Colts stayed competitive against the Chargers before bowing in extra time on Sunday. But I think the Colts might be a little bit better than people think. Now, as far as Houston goes, played a gritty game against New Orleans, but trust me, they know how I'm sure they've known how Buffalo has felt. I mean, teams have lost on 60-yard field goals. Remember, the Giants lost back-to-back years on 60-yard plus field goals. Jake Elliott and Graham Gano, to be exact. So I'm sure the Texans know the feeling. That was a devastating loss, and they played a really good game. Now to the AFC West, the Chiefs. Well, they're the Chiefs, obviously. Came into Jacksonville. I didn't think Jacksonville was ready yet, so Kansas City, they're off and running. The Chargers, of course, they had to gut it out against the Colts. Of course, they want extra time. They're going to be okay. Oakland and Denver. Here's the surprising thing. Oakland has this drama-filled preseason with Antonio Brown. They get rid of him, and what do you know? All the stress goes away. And last night, how do you like that? Easily being the Denver Broncos. What is wrong with Denver? I thought they improved their quarterback position with Joe Flacco. Maybe not. This could be a little scary for the Broncos, and it's very surprising they ended up losing to Oakland the way that they did. So maybe Oakland is a better team, addition by subtraction. I mean, if Antonio Brown was there, they'd be 4-12. Maybe they're 6-10 without him. Who knows? But there's your AFC lookout. NFC over this weekend. Let's start with the East, the Redskins and Eagles. Redskins actually played a pretty good game, but then they just ran out of gas on defense and the Eagles took over. I knew, just like Jacksonville in 2012, I knew that when the Eagles were down 17-0, there was no way the Eagles were going to lose either of those games, and they did not. So the Eagles come back and win, but a costly win because Malik Jackson might be out with a broken foot and could be out at least 8 weeks, could be even worse than that. I mean, I haven't even seen the injury report, but the Eagles will be okay on offense, but then now they have to go out on the road in double revenge at Atlanta, whom has been screwed twice over in the last couple of years. Redskins, I think they'll be okay. They have a good front seven, home opener against Dallas, and speaking of the Cowboys and Giants are going to be okay offensively. It's the defense that embarrassed. I mean, you look at the defensive names: Harry Carson, Lawrence Taylor, Jason Pierre-Paul, Michael Strahan, Justin Tuck. Boy, have they got to be pissed off about the Giant defense because they couldn't stop anyone. They couldn't stop a cold. Dak Prescott ends up having a perfect quarterback rating, ends up being the second quarterback in Cowboys history to open the season with a perfect rating, and the fourth quarterback in NFL history who ended up having a perfect rating by throwing like maybe less than 33 passes or something like that. That's just unbelievable. I mean, are the Cowboys that good or are the Giants that bad? But it might be an aberration because I think things will even out. Giants are home to Buffalo. They should bounce back. Cowboys are at Washington where they got screwed last year. And the Redskins are a little bit better than you might think. Case Keenum is not a bad quarterback. So, I mean, Cowboys played a perfect game on Sunday. I don't see that happening 2 weeks in a row. And the Giants, I think they bounce back. So I don't think Giant fans have to panic too much unless defensively the Bills grind them like they did with the Jets last week. Now the NFC North. I mean, you look at the Packers and Bears who opened the season. Very disappointing performance by the Bears. I was very surprised by the Packers defense showing up and winning that game. But the key in that game was Trubisky inside the 20-yard line throwing a pass that was intercepted in the end zone, and the officials missed number 91 of the Packers jumping offside on that play, and that ended up costing the Bears. But then again, when you have holding, illegal block, and offensive pass interference on 3 consecutive plays and you have 1st and 40, you don't deserve to win that game anyway. The Bears need to bounce back. Remember, they have a very tough schedule. The Packers have 5 out of their next 6 at home. Their only road game at Dallas, 5th week of the year. Will be very interesting. Now, as far as the other 2 teams, Minnesota, nice surprise for them. Of course, they beat Atlanta in what was a very intriguing game, and Dalvin Cook is back. So if he starts to roar, the Vikings could really be more dangerous than we thought. The Falcons, hey, you just don't know with them. I mean, their defense is finally back in the first time in over a year, so maybe it takes a day to gel or what have you. I don't know. But as far as the Falcons go, they need to bounce back at home against Philly on Sunday night, this coming Sunday. Remember, they got screwed the last 2 times at Lunkhead Financial. And Detroit, how do you blow a 15-point lead and still end up fit to be tied? That is bizarre. The Lions, I just cannot figure out. They should have never blown that 15-point lead. NFC South, the Saints had to hang on for dear life, and they needed a 58-yard field goal to win the game over Houston yesterday. The Saints are still going to be good, but Houston gave them a very tough game. Carolina, I thought that was the upset special, beating the Rams, but it didn't work out that way as the Rams won. But Carolina, I think they're middle of the road. And like I said, Atlanta, they need to bounce back, of course. Of course, this Sunday they play home against Philly. But I think Atlanta will be okay. They still have Matt Ryan. And then Tampa Bay, you got Jameis Winston. Even with Bruce Arians as head coach, he's a turnover machine. I still don't trust him. It may take a year to figure it out. This could be Winston's last chance. And trust me when I say I had an upset special, 49ers beating the Tampa Bay Bucks, and that's exactly what happened. 49ers, they're going to be a little bit of a better team than people think. That's why I picked them 8-8. So you look for the 49ers to bounce back. Garoppolo's healthy. Now they can get their offense going. They're going to be competitive. So Seattle and the Rams, be careful. Seattle barely had to hang on against the Bengals, but you know how Seattle is with their home games. They never really blow anyone out. It usually takes till the end to actually come through and win the game. And they got a fortuitous call at the end of that one against Cincinnati. The Rams, of course, going to Carolina and winning, defending their NFC title. I mean, Rams are still going to be the Rams, and they're going to be a very tough out. And the Cardinals, I thought they were going to be the worst team in football, but now all bets are off for a Dolphins-Cardinals Super Bowl 54 because A, they're the 2 worst teams in football, and B, Miami's the host city, and the host city is not allowed to play in their own home for a Super Bowl. Just does not work out that way. So that's your story for the first week, but you know what? Hey, as one sportscaster in Dallas once said, football is a strange lady, and we'll see how strange things get beginning on Thursday when Tampa Bay plays Carolina for the Thursday night game, and had some other interesting games, of course, Eagles-Falcons Sunday night and Browns-Jets on Monday night at MetLife. Should be rather interesting. So there's your Crazy Tom Tuesday for you. Like I said, I don't do rankings anymore. Hey, just speak about how the teams are doing and where do they need to go. Well, for some, it's going to be very desperate when it comes to round 2. I'm Crazy Tom. I'm out of here. I will hope to see you guys every Tuesday here in the NFL season. But for now, hey, keep spreading the word. If you ever want to reach me, just go to facebook.com/crazytom, which is one word, or @CrazyTomShow on Twitter and Instagram.